Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense. I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty, under 10 minutes. And if it goes over 10 minutes, it's something very, very, very important. And
I'm suspect of it.
And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT. Listeners' discretion is advised. Listeners' discretion is advised. If you have any comments, questions, insults, or even roast fest, you put it down below. If your insults are cool, I'll post it. If it's not cool, I'll delete it. And if you're just trying to get on my nerve, okay, and you keep posting stupid shit to me, trying to hurt my feelings, threatening my life and all that, you just be blocked. That's all. So I found a video out here, okay, which is about 2 minutes and 54 seconds. And it was quite interesting as I watched it. And of course, it's for educational purposes if you want to make it seem to be that way, okay? But everything could be used for an educational purpose. If you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast fest, you put it down below. I said that before. Let's get on with the videotape. Very interesting video. Let's begin.
As a male, I could have 18, 30, 40, 50 women pregnant at the same time.
Okay.
As a female, you can only be pregnant by one man at a time. And further, it benefits you as a woman to stick to that man because the more you get pregnant, the more your value declines. Stretch.
The more you get pregnant, depending on what you mean by value. Okay. Now, the value of the pussy does go down for if alphas are looking for virgins and into polygyny. Because me, as I said before, alphas don't do monogamous women who basically already lost their virginity. And your value does go down because you've been ride the cock carousel. It goes down because he don't want no other man's seed up inside her. So I'll explain that very early on. And let's continue on now here. So I want to listen to more what he has to say. Okay?
Marks, losing the vaginal elasticity, and all of these meaningful things that attract men.
That's true.
So you are one who should stick with a man. So monogamy is very meaningful for women, whereas for a male who has a lot of resources.
Well, you're not supposed to stick with monogamy, you guys. But let's hear what else he has to say.
Monogamy is not a necessity.
It's actually a detriment to you. I personally think if you're a man of a certain status and income, it's stupid for you to be monogamous. But
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? But women can still benefit from you not.
He said a lot, but let's just start with a simple question. Do y'all think being a deadbeat dad is only limited to broke men? I ask that because a lot of people lost in the sauce of capitalism, and you believe that because you have a certain income or resources, this makes you immune to being a deadbeat, and I don't think that's true. And speaking of finances, another thing I want to bring up. If it doesn't make sense for a man making a certain income and resources being in a monogamous relationship, you recognize that has to flip on the other way around too, right? If there are women that has a certain amount of income and resources, and I'm just...
Yeah, but the thing is that the women are more selfish than the men, okay? And plus, what he just said earlier, there's no great benefit in a monogamous relationship. You understand, alphas don't do monogamy. And if an alpha is basically wealthy, okay, and he wants to be wealthy, he should get what he wants, his cake and eat it too. There's no other way around that, okay? Once she breaks that approval and everything he puts up front with her, up front, because alphas are up front, they usually lay down the foundation. You can't... I would never deal with a street whore, trailer park trash, none of that type of shit. But a lot of beta males will. But let's continue on what he has to say. It's very important to place the value. It depends on what you're talking about when it comes down to value. Women's value will always be very high, especially if a man knows how to use her, like a lot of pimps. Pimps use a lot of whores anyway, and they can make a lot of profit. They can make up to $30,000 every month. Okay, but you got to understand the women's value can go up depending on the man who's controlling her. All right, but a woman, she has to think a little bit more. She's not really good at finances as good as a man. Okay, so let's get on with the videotape. Okay.
Wondering, does it make sense for them to be in a monogamous relationship? Another thing I want to bring.
Yeah. If a woman wants to do a polyandrous relationship and then adopt, she can substitute certain things that she's lacking in. You understand? I teach women how to do polyandry with beta males, okay? And I teach women how to go overseas as well. So it can benefit both ways. But there are more women who are, non-virgins who wish to go to that point to do such a thing. They want more of that. It's not just a sexual thing, but it could be, okay? But to me, I see that creating a big family Good sound, okay. Yeah, so let me just mute that for a minute here. It's more beneficial to have bigger families than the other way around. You know, natural born, biological, you know, because a woman, she knows she can only create one child, right? So she's going to have to adopt. And I do not condone adopting. No, I do not refrain. I refrain from doing any adoption because I don't want nobody else's seeds taking not. But you understand my point, though. It's more beneficial to have a blood lineage, okay, who's more loyal and dedicated to you than just to adopt and have polyandry. Polyandry is the state of being, it's a type of polygamy in which one woman has multiple husbands or multiple boyfriends and so forth. Okay, but let's continue on with the video. This video is not that long, which is good so far.
Up respectfully. If it is true, the more women gets pregnant, the more her value declines. This means the moment this sucker was conceived in the womb, that he brought the value of his mother down.
Now, he's taking things out of context. He never said anything about that. You know, see how these beta males get in their emotion? He never said any of that. You got to ask him that question. If you ask him that question while he's on the air and fresh and fraud, okay, you know, ask him that question. Does he mean that? There's a value of, you got to ask him. You can't just automatically assume that's what he meant. No, don't assume anything. Beta males always assume. He didn't mean that, okay? So, the value of a woman, virginity goes down for alpha males who seeks virginity only. All right, capiche? Let's continue.
It's an obvious, ugly trade-off. He's literally making the argument that in order for the world to be birthed, people with wombs have to be devalued.
No, that's not true.
So, Podcast They Young gotta be one of the most fragilely masculine podcasts I ever came across. It's structured by
I agree with that because all of them are simps, okay? And I'm telling you right now, even this guy who's talking don't know what the word simp means.
Solidarity. Well, boys get around other suckers with an attempt to appeal to each other by denigrating women. All because they the real ones and them other men be simping.
And the thing is that a lot of guys these days are in their emotions, okay? This guy don't even know what simping means. Like I said before, suckers invest in mediocre pussy. That means use vaginas. As I said this time and time again, when you get emotional, you're in your beta mode. And you will settle for a female who's already been in the streets, okay? That's just how it is, okay? But let's continue.
But only middle school-minded man sees woman empowerment as simping. Really trying to
No, a woman can be empowered. I no alpha man would disagree with a woman who wants to be empowered. Or even, you know, she want to do polyandry. It's just not what he's after. He's not after her. There's alpha females out there and there's alpha males, okay? But let's continue.
Find women based off the elasticity of their vagina. Come on, man.
The elasticity of the vagina is important because there's a lot of times when women use their power of the pussy to trap a man, okay? And when a female has been, if a question comes up to a female, are you a virgin? Automatically her value is worthless if she's already been in the streets. So would you place a value of a woman who's a virgin more higher than a woman who's a whore in the street? Which one? So you got to understand there's a value aspect to it. So I'll explain it to him and now everybody else done. This guy sounds like he copying off of my style, but it's okay. But I don't really care. As long as they're learning that virginity is important. But they're not talking about virginity yet. When it comes down to virginity, then you understand what alpha this is. And I keep saying to all you beta males who be listening to this guy and that guy too, virginity and polygyny is important. And explain it to the people, all right? Let's begin. Let's finish this and get it over with.
Time I see this dude right here, he talking some shit about some women. The first time I seen him,
then I'll tell you why. The reason that you must be submissive is because everyone has their roles and the roles don't come out of thin air. The roles come directly out of biology. And let me show you why you are submissive. If I was there right now, I could make you submit. You ain't even got to take the option. I'll make you submit. And here's the difference. You can never flip the script and make me submit.
Passive-aggressive threats to make an intellectual point to a woman, sucker shit. And then that podcast, whatever it's called, it's only making headlines when they doing.
Well, you don't need to do that if you're alpha. If you explain to the female in advance, okay, what she's supposed to be doing and what your obligations are, you won't have to worry about it. Once you start cutting, you start cutting as well. You don't really have to force her because what he's talking about is some aggressive shit. Okay, you know, beta alphas do shit like that. Pimps do shit like that. But I'm tell you, if you just lay down a foundation up front, if I don't receive this, I'm taking this away. I know that sounds childish, but that's how you're supposed to treat life. There's always a trade-off. You're not supposed to give. Love to alphas is respect. And once you respect, then you understand how to keep yourself in check. There's lines that cannot be crossed. Women use sex as a weapon all the time, okay? And I'm just trying to help you guys out. Now, I help women out too, so I'm trying to tell you, a lot of guys don't understand, a lot of women don't understand, and everything in between don't understand. But let's continue on, let's finish this off.
Plantation patriarchy type shit. As a man, I'm suspect of any sucker that defines his manhood based off of how he dominates women or how he's above women. Sucker shit.
America, 19.
Now, so far that to dominate a female is really like how the Bible dominates you, okay? So I'm not taking it out of context, but if you read your Bible, it clearly gives you instructions on how to serve your husband in everything, as a matter of fact. It's in there. And even in the Quran, it tells how, it gives you instructions on how to serve your man, okay? But common sense would say, just like he said earlier, the one guy, this guy right here, talking right here in the middle here, he says biology. You're supposed to serve and be submissive at all times. It is not a forced thing. It should never be forced. You have to allow the woman to give up. You have to give her a way out, okay? You got to make options so she can free herself if she gets bored or she feels she's being abused. Because it happened to me too. Don't get me wrong, it happens to everybody. But you have to make sure your value is up there. Men and women are not equal species. And they got to work together by verbal communication. If there's no emotional intelligence on the woman's side, and she's like easily swayed through other things by being distracted, then that man must have a plan. That man must have a plan. Other than that, I still don't believe a lot of guys understand what the word simp means. Okay? But I'm going to let it go for right now. Simping means suckers investing in mediocre pussy. I don't hate on women's hustle. I see value in everything, including women with children. A lot of MGTOWers and red pillers keep complaining about them. And that is not an alpha-like trait. You're not supposed to complain about it. Okay? And I try to teach you guys how to have something of value so it can be sold. Okay? The woman brings money to the man's pockets. It ain't got nothing to do with being aggressive or mean or abusive. You have to talk about this before you get in relationships. And most guys and women and in between don't talk about what their needs are up front. And other than that, that's all I really got to say, guys. So you can see where he's at. Okay, his name is Consciously. Okay, and so he sounds kind of like a beta. And I'm pretty sure he could be a simp too, because simping represents suckers investing in mediocre pussy, not the other acronym word of the millennials, because I'm older than most of you guys, correct? And crazier, right? All right, I'm out of you guys. I hope you learned something in this video. Peace.